Hi you guys, this is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer that's happening on July 9th at 18 degrees of Cancer. So really quick before I jump into the chart, the overall explanation, I did want to mention that I have a new membership called the North Node Society, and I basically have a whole astrology course that is worth hundreds of dollars just sitting there for you, easy access, just $20 a month. And it's so much more than just an astrology course. Not only can you dive into your chart and learn about where this moon is going to affect you personally and how that might look in your life, but you'll also have live group classes with people where I go over other topics around astrology. We also have a therapist. I say that in quotes because she's not a therapist, but there's some kind of like counseling service that we do. Again, I don't want to say counseling because I'm not like legally allowed to have therapy or counseling. It's something along those lines. It's kind of like coaching, like spiritual coaching, let's say. So we have a spiritual coach come on each month. We have breathwork classes, yoga. There's so many different things that are offered in this membership, and I really hope that you'd be interested in joining. So if so, there's a link below, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so we're going to go over the new moon for all of the zodiac signs, but first we're going to start off with the overview. So like I said, this moon is happening at 18 degrees of Cancer, which means that if you have a planet at around plus or minus 5 degrees, 18 degrees of Cancer, then you are going to be strongly affected by this. So this is what I see time and time again with my friends. For the people that don't have this aspecting any of their personal planets, sometimes these moons come and go and they're just felt a little bit energetically, but nothing in their life happens. Other times when it hits a personal planet by some kind of aspect, square, opposition, sextile, trine, or conjunction, you are going to have something in your life alter, change, manifest, or dissolve away. And new moons are specifically about building something up. So if this is hitting your personal chart, which again, you can find out by joining the membership and taking the course. But yeah, if this is hitting your chart, you'll notice that some new beginnings are being planted. Some new seeds are being planted at this time. And it's going to be another 6 months for the next full moon in Cancer when you start to see some ripe fruit coming as a result of the actions and things that are happening in your life right now. If you've watched my videos before, then you know I love to use tarot and oracle cards along with the astrology messages because I just feel like they're so intertwined. So I'm definitely going to be using those today to kind of describe this moon. So what is a new moon in Cancer about? Well, what I think is it's a lot about new emotional beginnings. Cancer is about us allowing ourselves to feel, allowing ourselves to nurture and mother ourselves, especially because this new moon is making a square to Chiron, which is an asteroid in the sky that has a lot to do with our healing process. And a square is a harsh angle that's indicating that this healing is coming off the back of a challenging situation. And because leading up to this point in time, Venus was opposing Pluto, a lot of those challenging situations are likely regarding our finances, our self-worth, or our relationships, our intimate partnerships with people. And so this healing that's happening is really going to be around some of those issues, and it's probably going to feel like a band-aid is being ripped off so that the skin underneath can finally get a fresh breath of air. And so that's kind of what I see this new moon as being. I don't think it's going to be the most comfortable new moon, but there are good solutions happening. And what I mean by that is that this new moon is also making a positive angle to Uranus. It's making a sextile to Uranus. Uranus is a planet of finding solutions. It is kind of like our way of thinking outside of the box, of rebelling to create something that doesn't exist that is going to solve our problems, to create change, to disrupt the status quo of what's been happening so we can finally feel some sense of relief or release or freedom. And so that's really what this new moon is about. How are we going to fully express how we feel? By finding some way to create a sense of change in our life to feel more free, to feel like we can finally be ourselves. So if you've had some relationships or relationship dynamics that have been repetitive or toxic and kind of keeping you stuck in old cycles, the sextile to Uranus at this moon is asking you to make some changes to those relationships to finally feel like you have some breathing room so you can finally express your authentic self with somebody who can actually sit and listen and take it in and who is a valid person to have a relationship with. I'm going to get more into that for each of the individual signs, but this sextile to Uranus feels very positive. So while there is kind of a lot going on in the sky in general in terms of relationships, money, and self-confidence, this Uranus energy asking us to shake things up, make different decisions, completely disrupt something in our life that's been heading on a path that needs to alter. That is the answer. That is the medicine and the remedy within the astrology right now. This new moon is also making a trine to Neptune. So this trine to Neptune is going to make this healing process a little bit easier. It's going to give us basically more universal and spiritual support throughout this process. So if you're looking for divine timing or divine signals or the universe kind of speaking back to you, this is a moon where you're going to feel like you're finally getting some kind of response from the universe if that's something that you normally tuned into. It's also a really great time to express yourself through art and creativity and anything where you feel like you can process emotion in a really cathartic way. So Neptune is that perfect energy, not only for spiritual expression, but artistic expression. So kind of leaning into those areas are going to help uplift you at this time. There's a really wide orb happening with Pluto and a Pluto opposition. So it's a 7-degree orb. We're probably not going to be feeling it that much, but since the Venus opposition to Pluto happened somewhat recently, I did want to bring this in and say that I do see some residual intensity from recent experiences regarding relationships, regarding money, or regarding self-worth, kind of filtering into this current experience. So I do feel like some of the kind of like childhood shadows that come up around those areas of our life can still be at the forefront, while I don't see them being like necessarily new situations or new realizations. I feel like it's more of the residual of what was just happening. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on for the moon itself. Now I'm going to talk about what's happening in the rest of the sky as far as astrology, and then I'll get into some cards that I pulled for this. So we are also experiencing Mercury in Gemini making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. So Mercury in Gemini is in its home sign. It loves to be there. Jupiter in Pisces loves to be there. They're both really strong in their element. The only thing wrong here is that Jupiter is retrograde. So a lot of this growth and advancement that we're currently working on with Jupiter is going to be very internal. Those abundance and the blessings that we normally see when Jupiter is direct are going to be kind of on hold until Jupiter does go direct again. Not that you won't receive any abundance or blessings, but that they're kind of trickling out now and not full on pouring out, because a lot of what's happening right now is internal manifestations, internal changes, internal growth. And so that's what Jupiter retrograde does. So I feel like Mercury making a trine to Jupiter is us being more optimistic. It's us feeling like, okay, I can see long term now. I can see how much I've evolved. I can look back in the past and give myself credit for how I've changed, how I've healed, how I've grown. But then we have Mercury also making a square to Neptune. So it's like, even though we can kind of see into the future and we feel more optimistic about it and we can see how far we've come, we also have this element of ourselves where there's still a lack of clarity. We're still not exactly sure where we're going. It's like we have a general idea, we're feeling excited, but when we try to like get down to the details of what is my life right now? Who am I going to be with? What is my relationship with myself going to be? How is my money going to evolve? It's like those things are not fully within our grasp. So even though we can have that excitement and that long-term vision, it's that long-term vision is unclear, or we don't feel like it's tangible. We don't have all of the information yet. We haven't fully come out of this hazy chapter. Like, we haven't fully integrated these lessons. We're still in this process of absorbing it and trying to understand it. So things might not feel like they're totally clear. So if you have this kind of weird relationship with someone and you're trying to end it, or you're not sure where you guys stand, like that's the kind of energy. Like, okay, there's some relief. Like, you guys maybe made a decision. If this is about a relationship, maybe you made a decision to end or change the relationship or not pursue something or whatever. You had a conversation. But then with the Neptune influence, it's like, it's not really done yet. It's like, it's not solidified. It's not super clear where you stand with this person, but you have a general idea of where you guys are going and you feel like it's better than where it was before. But maybe it's like you're not healed yet, or there's some aspect of that still needs to be fully seen later on. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of the big stuff that's happening is that we're going to have Mars and Venus aligning in the sky and making a conjunction. So Mars and Venus are very different energies. Venus is the planet of harmony and unity, and Mars is the planet of separation and of war. And so when we bring these two things in combination, it can be honestly this very intensified sexual experience. So we might have a lot more desire nature at this time. We might desire to be in relationship with people. We might want to have more sex with people. We might want to be around people in this really like strong, intense way than we normally do. Kind of like an almost animalistic drive to pursue relationships, or a drive to pursue financial abundance within ourselves, or financial abundance in general, or peace within ourselves. If we're working on a relationship with ourselves, it's like we have this fiery masculine flame kind of driving this desire for the feminine here, the uniting and the harmony. What this can also do is kind of lead to maybe some more struggles in relationships and fights and things like this, especially because Venus and Mars is opposing Saturn in the sky. So it's not like we have this desire and we're given free reign to go out and pursue what we want. At the end of the day, Saturn is there kind of blocking us and saying, okay, well, if you want to make progress with this, you first have to revisit all of this from the past. You have to address these weird habits that you have that you've been stuck in, or you have to overcome this problem first before you can have the green light to go ahead and like be with who you want or do what you want. It's like, it's hard. There's obstacles, there's delays, there's a sense of so much effort needing to be made, and it feels frustrated because our energy is being blocked. Like Mars is our energy. So we have this energy behind us to unite, to be with people, to have sex, to work on our money relationship, our relationship with ourselves. But it's like every time we try to take a step forward, there's like this roadblock that just doesn't allow us to keep on that path. So that can be a little bit frustrating at this time. But the good news is that Venus and Mars is making a square to Uranus. Again, squares are not the most positive, but just the fact that it's touching Uranus here is a good sign, especially because this moon is making a sextile to Uranus. What this means to me is that the solution to these things is creating some sense of freedom or change or disruption to your current cycle. And it's going to feel probably like a loss. It's probably going to feel negative. It's probably going to feel like something is either being taken from you or it's harder to process than it normally is because it's a square. So anytime there's a square to Uranus, it's like, it's not change that you're necessarily sitting down and really wanting to make that change. Maybe deep inside, you know that's the change that's best for you, but it's like on the outside, you also feel like you want to be with someone and maybe you don't want to have a breakup, or you want to spend that money and you don't want to sit there and budget all day. Like there's some aspect there that kind of feels like you're dragging your feet with this a little bit. But that square, if you do put that effort in to make those changes, to disrupt the status quo of where things have been going, that train that's headed down the track, if you disrupt that, it's going to truly manifest in a positive way for you and have a ripple effect onto the rest of your year. Venus and Mars is also making a trine to Chiron, so I do feel like it's through this change, through these decisions, and through facing these relationships with people or facing your relationship with yourself or with money, it's through that experience that you're going to have that deeper healing, that you're going to let go of some of those past patterns that you've been repeating since childhood. So that's really what came up with Venus opposed Pluto, was childhood patterns started to come up in relationships. We started to default to wanting to close down, to not open up. And now it's saying this is our chance to heal that by kind of creating a rift, by exploding what was once was, by taking a detour, by creating this massive change. We can start to rewire and rewrite history so that it doesn't just repeat itself on this in the cyclical way. So it's true healing is allowed to happen when we're doing this. And lastly, we have Saturn making a square to Uranus. This has been ongoing throughout the entire year. It's going to keep on going. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it's basically saying that we're just making massive, massive changes in our lives, and they might feel like they're coming a little bit slower than we'd like and a little bit more frustrating than we would like because Saturn is involved. But just know that you're steadily making progress, and this year is really where we're starting to lay down those big changes in our lives and into our internal selves. And then next year, I think we're going to start to see more results from them. So I wanted to show some cards that I pulled. So first I pulled this card, the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. This is really important. I feel like a lot of times it can feel like these negative relationship situations or money situations or self-worth situations are happening to us. We feel like we are victim to some of these people. I mean, if it's a lot of it is imbalances in relationships, honestly. That was occurring in the weeks prior to this, that we can feel frustrated about, like, why am I always giving, or why am I not receiving? It doesn't have to just be relationships, but just any area of your life where you feel like, God, I'm giving so much and I'm just not getting back what I think I should be getting back. And I feel like what this is saying is this is a very prime situation to help illustrate what you deserve, and to stop falling into patterns or falling into relationships with people that don't give back what you put in. It's not happening to you, it's literally happening for you. You're encountering these challenging situations and people to help you realize your worth, so that from now on, you can really stand up for yourself, hold those boundaries, take your power back, and start to attract the things that only match your level of giving and your vibration. I also pulled a potential card, so I feel like this is kind of going on the back of that, saying that all of this is happening to build you up to your highest potential. If you didn't have these more challenging relationships and circumstances and everything was just easy going, it's like there's not enough friction to help you grow, which is Jupiter retrograde. Grow inside, grow within yourself to reach a deeper and higher potential. So this is kind of forming us into the people that we're meant to be. I also pulled these two cards together, which is the wisdom and focus card. And I really feel like this is us being called to really address where our energy is going with this focus card. You know, what are you focusing your time, thoughts, and energy on? Because the last moon that we had was a Capricorn full moon, which was asking us to grow something, which was asking us to put effort into something. And so I think that is continuing on here with this focus card. Don't give up. Keep up that endurance towards building whatever you're trying to go for, whether that's a business, a relationship, a move, whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life to create change. Keep your focus on the prize and not on what's being lost, but what's being gained by creating more freedom in your life, by releasing things that aren't in alignment with you. And the wisdom card, I feel like, is just telling you to view this perspective to view all this from a higher perspective. Really try to put on your thinking caps and have the perspective of your future self or a really wise elder. They're not going to get so caught up in the details of the emotional experience that's happening right now. They're not going to get stuck in the stories. They're going to think about where this is taking them, why this is necessary, why this happened. Really allowing yourself to reflect in a wise and self-compassionate way is going to be important. And I feel like this Five of Pentacles is really illustrating kind of what we're experiencing emotionally at this time. These people are left out in the cold. They feel like they're not getting their needs met. They aren't being satisfied in their relationships or in some area of their life, and they're just feeling a little bit emotionally frustrated. And I feel like that's how a lot of us are feeling right now with different areas of our life. We're feeling like this sense of disappointment or like not being fully fulfilled. Like we can start to get some breadcrumbs and some things coming into our life, but the breadcrumbs aren't enough for these people. They feel like they're still frustrated with the situation that they're in. And I feel like that is where we kind of are, especially in relationships right now. And to me, the next card, the Hanged One, is really this Uranus energy about creating a massive shift. This can either be in our life or in our perspective. So there needs to be some kind of shift to who we are or to what we think or to what we do. We need to turn our life upside down and shake out all of the loose change from our pockets, because it's just dead weight that is not helping us. So for all of us, there's some elements of our life that's that loose change that's constantly like jingling in our pockets, reminding us that we need to do something about it, but we just don't want to take it out. We just don't want to get rid of it because it is money at the end of the day. but it's just weighing you down. It's unnecessary. So even if this relationship, this job, or this thing that you're enjoying feels good, or you want to hold on to it because you see some value in it, just know that it's chump change, and the universe is trying to shake that out of your pockets to give you, hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not just quarters. But you have to first make room in your life and in your pockets to receive that money to be able to do that. And that's why I feel like I pulled this Four of Pentacles card. This is us not wanting to release that change. Literally the change, I meant like with the money in your pockets, but literally like releasing something. Like all of us are trying to hold on to something that we no longer need to hold on to. If it's a relationship with someone, a hookup, a connection, something in regards to finances. I mean, that's the very obvious one with Four of Pentacles. Is desiring to hold on to those finances so that you feel the sense of security when there is no sense of security. You create your sense of security. So holding on to this thing is only deterring the blessings that want to come in for you. And this new moon in Cancer is about releasing things, allowing yourself to create space and liberation in your life to bring in new things, and allowing yourself to feel and grieve what's happening. Because whenever you release something, there's some aspect of grief that also accompanies that. So if you're trying to hold on to it so you don't feel the grief, you're really just delaying your blessings, delaying the healing process, and you're not helping yourself. So let go of whatever that thing is. Allow yourself to move on, and then move into the phase 2 of your life, which is about planning ahead. And this is what I feel like Mercury making that trine to Jupiter is saying, is it's a great time to plan ahead. It's a great time to look into the future. It's okay if you don't have full clarity with that square to Neptune. You don't need full clarity to get started. You don't need full clarity to start journaling, to get an idea of what you want. So if you did lose a relationship, if you did let that go, now get really clear on what you want to come in its place. Who does that person need to be to satisfy you? How do you need to be in the relationship to be fulfilled? Get super clear in that planning process to understand what it takes. And then the very last card we have is the Strength card, which I feel like is really just telling us that the sun will shine again, but in the meantime, it's going to take our inner resilience and our strength to endure this next couple of weeks, to move through these challenging situations, to try to endure this Five of Pentacles feeling. But just know that when we come out on the other side, things are going to be much better. So I think the Strength card is really about that, like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that things are going to improve, and just giving yourself the opportunity to believe that things will improve. So that is what I'm seeing for this new moon in Cancer. And now I'm going to go into all of the zodiac signs. If you are enjoying this so far, please like and subscribe. And if you comment down below, I just want to say thank you so much, because those comments, they mean the world to me, you guys. I read every single one and they touch my heart so deeply. And I just wanted to say thank you in advance if you are commenting. All right, up next we have Capricorn Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Cancer at 18 degrees is happening in your 7th house. So you guys are having new beginnings in relationships. And wow, I feel like you guys are finally getting some sense of hope and restoration in that area of your life. It might have been feeling a little bit challenging lately, a little bit more frustrating in your relationships. And with this star card and this new moon occurring, I feel like it's finally giving you guys a sense of relief. Like, okay, things are okay. I'm working on myself. I'm working on my patterns in my relationships. I'm working on my partner. And it feels like things are starting to finally, the storm is starting to calm. Things are looking like they're growing in a positive way for you. And I also pulled the Ace of Pentacles, which means new financial opportunities coming in for you guys. Some tangibles happening in your life. So this could literally mean that new relationships are coming in that feel very exciting. Anyone that kind of is going to help you grow as a person. So that could be a work relationship. That could be a new friendship from, wherever you've been, or it could be like a new romantic partner. But I am getting a sense that some tangible things are coming. It could be financial tangibles, but I get more the feeling that it's the tangible in form of a relationship coming in for you guys after maybe a dark period, because the star comes after the Tower card. So it represents hope, which means that before this time, there was a lack of hope. There was a challenge to feel positive, to feel optimistic. And so the sense I'm getting is that before this time, you might have been very frustrated emotionally in certain aspects of your partners. And I feel like you've made some changes with that recent Venus-Pluto opposition. And now with the Ace of Pentacles coming in, it's saying you're going to start having more opportunities to create relationships with people, or more relationships kind of fall in your lap that feel like they uplift you, that are actually going to make you feel just really positive overall. Wow, I pulled the Empress card. Yeah, you guys, I feel like you're stepping into your power. You know what you deserve, you know what you're wanting out of partners, and you're asking for nothing less. And because of that, the universe is respecting you and responding to you by giving you an opportunity in your relationships that feels like it's an equal match, that feels like it is fully like resonating with who you are in your new vibration. You guys have so many positive cards. I'm pulling the Ace of Pentacles. I love this. I feel like this is actually you working on something. So this person is like literally drawing, so it could be something creative, but I feel like maybe you guys are just picking up a new skill. That's a vibe with the Eight of Pentacles, is like developing your skill set. This could be you going to school. This could be you studying something new, or just like working on honing your craft in some area. I feel like this is kind of a separate message, but the vibe I'm getting is that like the universe is giving you like a nod saying like, hell yeah, like keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like the Magician card coming after it is also part of that message, saying that the more that you cultivate this skill and this ability, you're going to start seeing that you're going to be able to wield this craft to create something in your life that's very exciting, that's very fulfilling. You're going to be able to start manifesting something out of this skill. It might take time. The Ace of Pentacles is slow energy. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But with the Magician card, it's saying that you should keep on track with that. Put the energy and attention into that. Don't give up, because at some point, you're going to be able to manifest more of a dream life by utilizing and leaning on that skill. So this new moon is also making a trine to Neptune in the third house. So I honestly feel like this relationship healing that's happening for you guys is healing you on a mental level too. I feel like you guys are going to stop some of these old stories and old thought processes around your partners and how you are in relationships. And you're going to be able to start communicating in a way with yourself that's much more compassionate, as well as others. I think it's going to be heightened communication, more understanding between you and your partners and the people that you're trying to address. And I just feel like it looks more positive overall. You guys have also a sextile to Uranus happening in the fifth house. So the moon is making a sextile to Uranus. And what to me that's saying, interesting that this is about relationships. The sextile to Uranus in the fifth could be changes to either having children, changes to your a creative project that you're interested in working on, or changes to your dating life. So there is some aspect here of you needing to make a change in one of those areas of your life. So if you want to have kids and this new moon is happening in the seventh house, maybe it's saying that things are really good with your partner and you and your partner are going to have a new beginning and have a child. Or maybe it's that you are starting to connect with more people. Like, for example, if you're going to school, you're starting to connect with more classmates who are interested in similar things, and you're realizing that you want to create a project with them. You want to do something and work together with other people to bring this to life. There's something here where the communication is flowing, the relationships are flowing, and there's a desire to create something or pursue something that feels very positive, whether that's a child or literally a project, or even just like going on vacation and being social. It's some kind of like thing that you're pursuing with other people using your strong communication skills, and it feels just optimistic in your life overall. But with the sextile to Uranus, there is a need for change there. So it's not just like it's going to take effort. So if you want to have a kid, you're going to have to make a change. Okay, I'm going to stop birth control. I'm going to track when I'm ovulating. Like, there needs to be some change in what you do to get the result that you're looking for. So if you're trying to create some project with someone, some creative venture, what changes do you need to make in order to make that happen? How can you pursue that? So be asking yourself, what do I need to change at this new moon? Because this new moon making a sextile to Uranus is like the strongest thing coming through, that all of us need to create some kind of change in our life right now. And for you, it could be, for example, in your dating, like, who are you dating? Where are you dating? What are you asking for when you're dating? Like, what changes do you need to make in that so that you can start to create new and better relationships with this new moon in the seventh house? You have to make those changes to cultivate a more positive relationship. You guys also have Mercury and Gemini in the sixth house making a trine to Jupiter in the third. So I feel like this is saying work is going well. Communication with your colleagues is probably Feeling positive at this time, although Mercury is making a square to Neptune, so you might feel like, even if you're communicating with your colleagues or your classmates or something, you might feel like you get along well and things are going well, but there might be like some, with Neptune, there's always like some like lack of clarity. Like you don't understand something that they're saying or you don't see eye to eye fully, but you guys are like good vibes anyway. It's like some aspect there of like being a disconnect in either the communication, understanding, or even thought process that you have versus someone else that you're working with. It doesn't just have to be about that, but that's really what I'm getting with this is like some element of communication is positive and like feels like good vibes again with Jupiter, but probably needs a little bit of fine tuning to really fully see eye to eye. You guys also have Venus conjunct Mars and Leo in your 8th house. I pulled this card. I was like, what? This is what this card is about. This is a card, Death and Magic. Venus and Mars is one of the most energizing aspects going on in the sky right now. It's pulling our attention to this element of our life. And for you, it's in the 8th house. The 8th house is death. So there is some element of you shedding an old aspect of yourself here. And I feel like you're really fucking motivated to do it. You're like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm making this change with this Death and Magic card. You're ready to release. You're ready to die off in some aspect of yourself and to be reborn in a new way. But at the same time, I kind of feel like with this opposition, Venus and Mars is also opposing Saturn in the 2nd house. And I feel like even though you're ready to kill off some part of yourself that you're just so done with, especially if it's in relationships, because this new moon is in the 7th house, I feel like even though you're killing that side of you off, Saturn in the 2nd is making things a lot harder. Saturn in the 2nd is like that aspect of yourself that still wants to be stuck in its old patterns. The 2nd house has a lot to do with like Taurus energy. So it's like, it feels like very stuck, to be honest. Like, but also the 2nd house has to do with like finances. So it doesn't just have to be like releasing some part of yourself, but I really thought it was because of this card. So I feel like on a more esoteric level, it's you, releasing part of yourself that you didn't like in your relationships. But it also could be about like really tackling your debt and your finances, or even tackling insecurities that might have impacted your relationships. But with Saturn in the 2nd, it's like there's a holding on, there's a wanting to hoard things. So whether it's like wanting to hold on to old aspects of yourself and not let go, or hold on to possessions, or hold on to money, so it feels like you it's like not working on debt because you want to accumulate more or hold on to what you have, if that makes sense. So that can get in your way at this time, and I feel like you're being asked to let some of that go, or at least create a balance between what you want to keep and what you want to let go of, either within yourself or like literally physically with finances and possessions. Venus and Mars is also making a square to Uranus in the 5th, so I definitely feel like whatever changes you're needing to let go of within yourself are ultimately going to impact that thing that you're trying to create. So whether that's your dating life, that creative project, having children, those changes that you need to make are being directly influenced by your ability or inability to let this thing go. So if you are trying to date someone, or you're interested in something like that, you're going to be stuck in these old patterns unless you take the time to let that thing go, let that aspect of yourself go. And then in your dating life, you'll actually start to see those changes occur. So basically these things are interwoven and dependent upon one another. I also pulled the water card. So I do feel like a lot of what needs to be addressed or let go of are going to be emotional aspects of yourself. How do you process emotions? How do you communicate about your emotions? How do you healthily deal with your emotions and without getting overwhelmed, without projecting? Like there's so many different things that can go awry when it comes to feeling our feelings. And so I feel like you guys are being asked to rely intuitively on how you're feeling about what to let go of, like use your intuition for that, but also like asking yourself what you need to let go of in terms of how you process, deal, and talk about emotions in relationships with other people, because there's something there, there's some pattern there that needs to retire. Yeah, and I got the mother, like the mother yourself card. This is asking you how you mother yourself, and I think that makes so much sense with the water card. The fact that this is a Cancer new moon, it's all about emotions. It's all about mothering ourselves, and that's the main question in terms of what you need to address and let go of and examine in your relationships is all of that stuff. How are you mothering yourself? Are you like overly mothering other people? Are you underly mothering yourself? Like how, like that's just very common for women. We tend to like give so much emotionally to other people and not ourselves first. So that's probably a really big thing for some of you at this time. And if you're not a woman, maybe you need to be more nurturing to your partner. Or maybe even as a woman, you need to be like, there is some element there of nurturing and mothering that you need to examine within yourself and within your relationships. And again, processing emotions. Answer the call. Everyone is getting these two cards. Answer the call. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't even really want to talk about it, to be honest. Just answer your soul's calling. The soul family, this is resonating with me because I feel like you guys are coming into contact with more people at this time. That's really what I was getting. And you might have the opportunity to work with new people at some point. That is some kind of vibe that's coming up. So if you notice some people coming into your life right now, like, you know, it's a time when relationships I feel like are going to be improving for you as you release some of these aspects of yourself around your emotional nature in relationships, and you're going to start attracting those people that are going to help you. And I feel like that soul family card is basically saying that as you change, your relationships change and you draw in more aligned people, and that looks really great. So that's what I see for you guys, Capricorn Rising. If it resonates, please like and comment down below. I love reading your comments. It's so much fun for me. And please subscribe. And if you're interested in learning about astrology, I have an entire course worth hundreds of dollars, super in-depth, amazing course, and it's only $20 a month, and you can cancel anytime. And it's the North Node Society linked in the description box below. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.